that she's doing well, she has new clothes, and that she's sorry for putting us through this.
A young girl missing for 5 days has been found. Her alleged kidnapper, one of the FBI's most wanted, is now in custody here in Las Vegas.
This is First News 3 at 4 with Kendall, Tenney, and Beth Fisher.
Good afternoon. A nationwide manhunt for a kidnapper is over, coming to an end right here in Las Vegas.
The FBI picked up an elementary school principal with an 11-year-old girl. Both disappeared last Thursday from Lake Station, Indiana. Now take a look at a map. You can see where that is. It's a small town near Gary, Indiana, and Chicago, Illinois. Kim Capozzo joins us live from Boulder Highway, and that's where the two were picked up this morning. And Kim, this girl was a student at the principal's school.
Kendall, this all started about a week ago when the little girl ran away from her parents at a Walmart. She hopped into a vehicle with her school's principal. It all ended this morning along Boulder Highway. The two were staying at a Budget Suites near the Boulder Station Casino. 28-year-old William Andy Beath gives the local officer his driver's license. His identity puts him in cuffs.
I'm just proud to be a part of an agency where this officer works, who took this decisive action and pulled this 11-year-old girl back to safety.
Wanted for kidnapping and other federal charges involving this little 11-year-old girl, Gabrielle Grace Marshall. Authorities still investigating why the principal of her Baptist school took off with her, ending up here in Las Vegas.
You know, I like Gabby. She's a good girl. It's wrong for people like Beath to do this to young kids.
Her disappearance stuns those in her hometown. Her alleged kidnapper shocks everyone, especially her father.
I want to plead to Gabrielle. Gabrielle, call me wherever you're at. I'll come get you. You need to come home. We all miss you. Even Princess misses you too.
This afternoon, we're told that Gabrielle is doing okay. Right now, she is at Child Haven. Earlier this afternoon, she went under testing at a local hospital to see if sexual assault charges should be added to the list of crimes that her alleged kidnapper is charged with. Right now, he faces kidnapping and other federal charges. He will face a judge here locally tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I'm Kim Capozzo reporting live. Kendall, back to you.
And it turns out this isn't Beath's first brush with the law. As a teenager, he was charged and convicted for exposing himself to a 15-year-old girl. His father has also had trouble with the law. He was the principal of the Baptist school before his son took over. The younger Beath took over 3 years ago after his father stepped down because of sexual misconduct charges.
Convicted killer Margaret Rudin will be back in a courtroom tomorrow morning. She wants to fire her attorney, Michael Amador. Rudin was convicted last week of killing her husband, Ron, back in 1994. And now she's ready to blow the whistle on Amador, claiming he lied when he said he took the case for free, that he stands to make a lot of money on book and movie rights. John L. Smith has the scoop on some other devastating accusations against Amador tonight on News 3 at 6.
If you run a red light in Nevada, the only way to get caught right now is by a police officer. Automated cameras that send a ticket in the mail so far have been against the law.
Stacey Escalante joins us live at Decatur and Charleston with more on how one state senator wants to change the law and legalize those red light cameras.
City leaders tell us this is one of the worst intersections as far as red light running goes. Today, we believe them. As far as city leaders go, what they can do, there isn't much as far as cameras go. 2 years ago, the state legislature passed a law making it illegal. But today in Carson City, Senator Dina Titus is trying to give cities a say.
Everybody does it. Everybody.
Somebody will run it, watch.
That's why people run red lights, they don't get caught.
There can't be a police officer on every corner or a camera either.
I thought that's what those were out here.
That camera monitors traffic. However, state law prohibits local city governments from installing photographic equipment to catch red light runners or other traffic violators. But Senator Dina Titus is trying to change that. She's introducing legislation to try and give cities the green light to make their own decisions. She and other supporters feel red light cameras serve as a deterrent and lower citations and accidents. Opponents say it's a way to make money and gives Big Brother too much power.
I'd compare it to having a camera beamed down on my house. It'd be kind of an invasion of privacy, but, you know, if that's what it takes, I guess that's what it takes.
Back here live again, this would not mandate cameras. It would only give cities more power. Titus says it was too late to introduce a bill, so she was trying to amend it to Senate Bill 396. If it passes the Assembly, it must go back to the Senate because it already passed there. Metro supports this, the county, or some counties support it, and so do some cities. Well, coming up at News 3 at 6 o'clock, find out how one man says it's not putting cameras up there, it's making the yellow lights longer that will solve the problem. Reporting live, I'm Stacey Escalante. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Stacey. A study out of Oxford, California shows red light violations dropped 42% after cameras were installed at 9 intersections. However, in Mesa, Arizona, a study shows after the yellow light was made 1 second longer, red light citations dropped 56%.
In the meantime, as Stacey mentioned, more and more cities are keeping an electronic eye on drivers by installing these cameras at traffic lights. But the cameras are expensive, around $50,000 per light, and most cities can't afford them at every busy intersection. So University of Florida engineers have developed a method to help save lives and tax dollars. The approach involves a computer and a home video camera to analyze traffic patterns. Now, this offers police a cheap way to identify intersections with the most red light violators, and that helps them to decide where traffic cameras would do the most good.
Folks across the valley are rolling up their sleeves for injured NHP officer Bobby Kinsell. Today, United Blood Services held a second blood drive at the Clark County Detention Center. Kinsell was run over by a carjacking suspect in April. He is still in critical condition at UMC this afternoon. Another blood drive will be held on May 12th. That one also will be at the detention center.
Time to check in with Tom Hawley and understand, Tom, big problems on 95 right now.
Yeah, really big for people out in the northwest trying to head inbound. Luckily, most of the people would seem to be trying to head the other direction, but look at this backup here. That's from Cheyenne. We just passed a couple of different problems, the first of which is an accident in the clearing stages right here. As a matter of fact, the vehicle is gone. You can see where the accident was right there with some material spread on the roadway to soak up whatever fuels were spilled. Then it clears up for just a moment, and then the gridlock starts once more, and that is due to another accident which also just cleared out of the way. And as we swing the camera around here to the Rainbow-Summerlin interchange just coming into sight, you also see very heavy traffic on Summerlin. That is due to an accident which is at the Torrey Pines area, and can't quite see it in this shot here, obscured by the apartments, but that accident actually involved a car which went up onto the embankment. That one also just now cleared out of the way, so even though these accidents are gone, which is good news, the backup was so intense that it'll probably be at least another 15-20 minutes before traffic on the inbound expressway returns to normal coming from the northwest part of town. Tom Hawley reporting from Sky 3.
All those people bored, stuck in traffic, probably checking the old car thermometer.
Yeah, which is always higher than the real thermometer, but you're hoping they have air conditioning at the same time because it is hot out there. Dr. Jim's in the Weather Center.
Today is not the kind of day you want to be stuck in traffic with no air conditioning. You're right, Kendall. And I think we're going to see not only with hot temperatures today, even hotter temperatures for tomorrow. Let's take a look outside right now. Skies are clear as we look from the Mandalay Bay cam. One lone cloud out there, and that's typical for most of the skies. Sunny skies, 95 degrees current temperature, 13% relative humidity, and hardly any wind out there. You know, a little breeze would be nice to help cool things down, at least feel a little bit cooler out there. But tomorrow it looks like we're going to be right back up to near the century mark, and I'll be talking more about that coming up in the forecast in just a few minutes. Beth, back to you.
Is another postal rate hike in the works? It may be hard to believe, but the answer is yes. This morning, the Postal Service Board of Governors approved yet another rate increase to offset rising costs and shrinking income. Starting July 1st, rates for priority mail, express mail, periodicals, and postcards will go up.
Well, I don't understand why you would have an increase with the post office when you see them on TV advertising things like the Olympics. That doesn't make sense to me. Where do they get their advertising money if they're raising postal rates? So.
You may remember the post office raised the first-class stamp from 33 to 34 cents in January. This increase will not affect those rates.
Well, it's not all bad news when we talk about the post office. Letter carriers across the country are going to try to stamp out hunger this weekend during the nation's largest single-day food drive. The National Association of Letter Carriers will be collecting food from mailboxes across the country. This is Saturday. All you have to do is leave a grocery or just some other sturdy bag containing non-perishable items next to your mailbox before the letter carrier arrives. Last year, the drive collected 64 million pounds of food. Around 19 million adults and 12 million children in the U.S. live in households that struggle to buy necessary food. An update now on a story we brought to you last week on First News 3 at 4. Tomorrow, lawmakers in Carson City are going to vote on a bill to allow out-of-state dentists to practice here without taking Nevada's board test. The Nevada Dental Association is against this bill and running this television ad, making people aware of the bill and encouraging Nevadans to contact their lawmakers before the vote. Protests against the bill are planned outside of the legislature tomorrow. People in favor of the bill say it's to promote dental care in rural areas and make more dentists available to folks living outside Nevada's larger cities and towns.
Many doctors and nurses see lives saved every day. But in today's Helpline 3, a new survey shows they also see their colleagues regularly make blunders, big ones. A new survey offers one of the most revealing looks yet behind the mask at what doctors and nurses really see on the job. Unveiled at a Washington news conference, the telephone poll of 1,000 medical professionals indicates 95% of doctors and 89% of nurses have seen a serious error in patient care. A few even say major errors happen frequently. Last year, a government report indicated nearly 100,000 people a year die as a result of mistakes. An example, last month, a 9-month-old girl died at Children's Hospital in Washington after accidentally getting an overdose of morphine, a painkiller.
I don't think there's any acceptable injury rate in healthcare. We're going to have the errors, but we can prevent the injuries. Errors are inevitable. Injuries are not.
Berwick works with a foundation that's beginning a $20 million research project with an ambitious goal, pursuing perfection in medical care.
More and more now, I work with nurses and doctors who understand that the discussion and surfacing errors is important, but it's still not the norm. We have a long way to go.
Both Nurse Capsonell and Dr. Berwick say the U.S. healthcare system forces doctors and nurses to make decisions based on that most error-prone of tools, human memory. There is a measure of good news in the telephone survey of doctors and nurses. About 1/3 said they were eager to take an active role in improving the quality of health care. Well, high prescription drug prices could be blamed on a handful of drugs. That's the finding of the National Institute for Healthcare Management. The group says popular drugs, including the arthritis medications Vioxx and Celebrex, the cholesterol-lowering drug Lipitor, the anti-ulcer medication Prilosec, and the diabetes drug Glucophage are behind the nearly $20 billion rise in prescription drug costs. They say television advertising encourages patients to ask for these specific drugs, and they claim that's driving the price of all drugs up. Americans spend nearly $132 billion every year on prescription drugs. And is there help for those people who simply can't afford their medication? Well, several months ago, the governor launched his prescription drug program for seniors in our state. On Friday, I'll take a closer look at whether or not it's working.
A new study shows older Americans are doing more than just sitting around during their golden years. The study by Duke University finds more than 80% of Americans over the age of 65 are able to take care of themselves and live a more vigorous life. Researchers also say older Americans know more about how to stay healthy than ever before. A new beer alternative is meant for adults, but kids seem to be the target of this new product.
It just tastes like you're drinking a glass of lemonade.
We'll tell you about hard lemonade and why it could get your kids hooked on alcohol.
And it's the time of year to do things around your house. But will those handyman products you see on TV make your household chores easier? We put them to the test.
Plus, the medical benefits of reading Harry Potter books. Doctors say spending time with a wizard could help your kids. That's coming up on First News 3 at 4, where news comes first.
You're watching Southern Nevada's #1 choice for news. This is First News 3 at 4.
All right, I'm not exactly Mr. Fix-It, but for a lot of us, springtime means it is time to give our house a facelift. So this week on First News 3 at 4, we're going to look at ways to help you with those projects with hardware myths and mysteries. Today, a test of hardware items as seen on TV.
Level a picture. Yours free. But there's more, lots more.
On TV, they come at us from every direction. Those mysterious gadgets claiming wondrous results. Gadgets like the auto hammer, the squeeze wrench, and the handy bundler. To test these exotic tools, we picked a common man, Handyman Steve, a guy who can hammer 5 nails in 16 seconds. He didn't do so well with Auto Hammer, 5 nails in 66 seconds.
Were you trying your hardest?
Yes, I was.
Or were you dogging it?
I was going as fast as I could.
With the Auto Hammer, you load nails into the handle, press the button, one falls out, and you pound away.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Next, the squeeze wrench, for those turns in tight places.
I'm taking this off, and it's working pretty smooth.
Would you buy one?
Yeah, I'd buy one of these and have it in the car.
Finally, the handy bundler, which
And I should be
bundles
able just
stuff.
to snap it
At
off.
first, it made our tester testy.
It didn't hold at all.
But eventually, he got the hang of it.
See, that is pretty tight. That did set pretty good. That is clamped pretty good.
Would he buy it?
I don't know. This is just kind of a frustrating tool to use. I could use a tie wrap and be done a lot faster with it.
Hardware store manager Mike Canning says he's always asked about miracle products, and he's not a huge fan.
Once in a while you hit on a gem, and it does a lot for the retail industry, but in general, they're just gimmicky.
He says if it does work, tell everyone. If it doesn't, get a refund. After all, it's your bundle of cash. One note about that Auto Hammer, the company rep says the company stands behind the product as long as you follow the directions. If you're still not satisfied, he says take it back and ask for a full refund. If you want to check out some of those as seen on TV products, log on to our website at kvbc.com. Tomorrow on First News 3 at 4, appliances like your fridge and washing machine are some of the biggest power users, but small little things can make a big difference in your utility bills. We're going to help you save some money tomorrow at 4.
We love that. A new alternative to beer is meant for adults, but kids are also getting in on the action. Hard lemonades are alcoholic malt beverages flavored with lemons. Critics call them Alco Pops and say marketers are targeting these sweet-tasting drinks to teenagers.
Young people know about these drinks. They like these drinks. They prefer these drinks to other alcoholic beverages.
This is a story we first brought you several weeks ago, but we wanted to follow up on it because now the Center for Science and the Public Interest is collecting data to see whether these drinks make it easier for kids to get hooked on alcohol. In response, the Beer Institute says that teen drinking is almost 50% lower than it was 20 years ago.
Well, on hot days like this, if you're trying to quench your thirst, you want to stay away from alcohol and carbonation and that kind of stuff. It's getting there.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, we're going to be close to the record for today. Our record high would be around 102 degrees, set back in 1989. I don't think we're going to get there today. We'll be closer for tomorrow, though, so we're not changing anything except heating things up even more. As we look from our Mandalay Bay cam, you can see skies are very clear. We'll call it sunny. 95 degrees our current temperature, 13% relative humidity. It's warm, it's dry, and only a 3-mile-an-hour wind from the north. We'd like to see a little more than that because it would help feel a little cooler out there anyway. So there's conditions at the airport. Here's our live conditions now at Nellis Harris at the Wells Fargo branch. It's flirting between 98 and 99 degrees. Hardly any wind at all, and again, 26% relative humidity. Pretty warm and pretty dry. As we look at the temperatures in the valley, look at the 100-degree reading. Spring Valley 100, 102 in Henderson, Lake Mead already 100 degrees, 95 at Pahrump, 93 up in Summerlin too, even 71 up on the mountain this afternoon. So we are definitely seeing some warm temperatures. Now, as far as our allergy report, weed pollen remains high, tree and grass are down to moderate, and supposedly now we've passed the peak part of the allergy season, so we should slowly things should be coming down, and slowly we might not have to take our Claritin as much as we've had to all season long. All right, what's going on in the atmosphere today? We have some more cloud cover, another storm system passing to the north of us, but down here and to the south, nothing happening at all. High pressure continuing to build in, blocking out all that moisture to the north, and that's allowing our air to be very dry. The drier the air, the easier it is to heat up. That's why we're seeing those temperatures way up in the 90s and the century mark. As we look at the temperatures across the region right now, we're looking like at 88 up in Reno. We're looking at 92 in Kingman, 104 in Phoenix today. Yeah, they're pretty hot down there. Looking 91 in Los Angeles, even 99 over in Fresno. So our forecast goes like this. 71 for the low temperature tonight. So the temperature is still well above normal even during the nighttime hours. I think we will make it over the century mark for tomorrow. 101 for the high. Southwest winds 5 to 15. Now this time of the year, think about your pets and also kids in the cars. be very careful out there, because with these kinds of temperatures, it doesn't take much to cause a lot of problems, especially for those pets in the car. Don't leave them in there more than just a couple of minutes. 72 for the low temperature at the Lake Mead for tonight. 103 for the high tomorrow. So if you're going to be out on the lake, sunscreen, take some extra water with you. A little umbrella might not be a bad idea either. And on the mountain, 42 for the low, 77 for the high. So kind of cool in the morning, but 77 warming up nicely. So you might want to take a jacket if you're going to be doing any hiking, but you certainly won't need it later in the day. Southwest winds about 5 to 15 miles an hour. So what's going to happen over the next 5 days? Well, I still think we're going to be around 101 for Wednesday, in the upper 90s for Thursday and Friday, and in a little more breezy coming into the afternoon hours for Thursday and Friday as well. And for Mother's Day, a high of 95, so a beautiful day for our moms coming up this weekend.
That's great. Thanks, Dr. Jim.
You bet. Jim Snyder's here with a look at what's coming up at 5 o'clock.
Talking about a really scary crime today. He sneaks into your home while you're there. A crook is targeting families across the valley, and you could be next.
I'm Denise Rosh. A gated community is targeted by a burglar who just doesn't care who's home when he gets in. I'll show you what he's doing tonight at 5.
Plus, people in this neighborhood are worried a fire may have been a cover-up for murder. We'll tell you what they found when the smoke cleared at this apartment. And Lady Luck strikes love into the hearts of 50 couples. We'll tell you what Elvis and the internet have to do with this wedding. Plus, it's touted as the Viagra for women. Find out how it's working for some women right here in the Valley coming up at 5 o'clock.
All right, Jim, thanks. Next, the series is already a hit with kids.
Now, doctors are pushing the power of Harry Potter. It's just ahead on First News 3 at 4, where news comes first.
Stay in touch with news happening in Southern Nevada anytime, anywhere. Just visit KVBC.com and click the news button. We're setting the pace in cyberspace.
We're always looking for ways to put kids first and tell you what's right with kids. This is a good example. One local elementary school is being rewarded for all of its efforts. C.P. Squires Elementary is getting national recognition after moving from practice when it comes to test scores. 4 years ago, more than 50% of the students at C.P. Squires scored in the bottom quarter of Terra Nova test takers across the nation when it came to almost every subject. This year, students ranked above average in most of the subjects, didn't score really low in any of them. The improvement has earned Squires Elementary the title Model School by an educational software program. Only 28 schools nationwide were selected for the honor, so congratulations to them. And more kids across the valley are doing great things and being honored for it. Today, Durango High School students Richard James and Grant McLaughlin were given the Gold Valor Award. This award, which is equivalent to the Medal of Honor in the Air Force, was given to the teens for rescuing 2 children from a fire. The children were trapped in their mobile home as it burned to the ground, so James and McLaughlin went inside and got them.
Congratulations to them. The power of Harry Potter is being touted by psychiatrists. They say the boy wizard is a character who helps young readers survive their mistakes. The book series was talked about at the American Psychiatric Association's annual meeting. They also say Harry tolerates negativity but isn't aggressive, arrogant, or depressed.
Coming up, a grandfather and grandson complete one of life's milestones together.
Find out why it took this man on the left nearly 60 years to get his high school diploma. Next on First News 3 at 4, where news comes first.
Do you have one of these? If not, listen up. Find out how you might win your share of $20,000. Just go to Jerry's Nugget at Las Vegas Boulevard North and Main or Lamar's Donuts at 9031 West Sahara. Look for the displays with these entry forms and register to win. Then watch News 3 at 5 each weekday afternoon. Listen for your name. Call within 30 minutes and you may be the winner of a $1,000 certificate of deposit from Nevada First Bank. It's that easy. So register, watch News 3, and win.
Hey, make a plan to check out the new Family Feud starring comedian Louis Anderson.
Anything for you, Louis?
Oh, Family Feud, weeknights at 7:30, only on Channel 3.
A lifelong dream becomes reality for a Florida man. 75-year-old Gene Bailey is finally graduating from high school. And to top it off, he'll be walking through the ceremonies with his grandson, who's standing there next to him. The elder Gene is receiving his diploma now because he skipped the ceremonies back in